Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm, of course, your host with most, Phil Better, and I'm very, very excited for the guest we have today because they have made waves in the world of digital entrepreneurship with her innovative strategies and, of course, her remarkable achievements. Our guest today is the dynamic founder of her own consulting firm, launched during the height of the shutdown. Her company made an incredible impact, hitting $100,000 in the first 6 months and growing to over $600,000 while serving more than 12,000 entrepreneurs in the online social media community space. Our guest message is to bring order to the overwhelming information age by connecting people with the experts they need most right when they need them. They have an impressive track record as well, helping over 350 businesses build their audience and groups on Facebook, resulting in consistent and predictable 5 to 7 figure months with smaller qualified audiences. Her expertise has made her a sought after speaker for notable figures like, Taylor Welsh, Richard Seffron, John Madison, and the Business Coaching Institute, and Taylor DeHaas. She's also the author of Not a Sales Book, sharing her valuable insights and strategies with a broader audience. But when she's not dominating the online space, she is also a dedicated wife to an Army veteran for the last 19 years. And of course, a loving mother of 5 kids, one of whom survived a brain tumor when he was younger. Her passion for supporting industry experts and helping them amplify their voice with high organic visibility, engagement is truly inspiring. So she's going to share her journey with us today about how you can grow, how she grew, and all that amazing things. So today I want to welcome Cierra Lueck to the show. Cierra, thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate that. That was quite the introduction. That was like 2 introductions in one. So that was fun.
I try. I want to get people really hyped up for my guest, like the old hype guys for the rap stars of the 90s. So that's my job here because you're the star of the show. I'm just this hype guy, and then I open and close the show. That's all I do.
I was going to say it's definitely that let's get ready to rumble energy. Yeah.
That's I love those 2 guys, I forget their names. But anyways, that's not important here. We're here to talk about you, not my passion for hyping people up. Cierra, like always, I want to know why. Why in the height of the pandemic, or was this something else that you decided to become an entrepreneur?
My entrepreneurial journey, like most entrepreneurs out there, starts when I was younger. So in my family, I grew up and my dad was a piano tuner, had his own business. My mom, she was actually the breadwinner my entire childhood, but she always had some kind of side hustle that she was doing in network marketing of some sort. And then her best friend actually was like a second mom to me. And she had a wedding dress business that she ran out of her home. And back 20 years ago was making dresses that were going for $10,000 and $15,000. And so, just like really high-end wedding dresses. So I was surrounded by not only quality, but really just very ambitious entrepreneurs. They didn't end up growing their businesses to be like, say an Elon Musk level or a Trump or Bezos level, but they did have this really big spirit for it. So I always was surrounded by that. I think entrepreneurship is generational for my family. So I'm not a first-time entrepreneur. So it's always been in my blood.
And I'm guessing you had the opportunity to rely on these amazing entrepreneurs in your family to kind of when you had questions when you were first starting off.
I wish that were the case. I wasn't that smart. A lot of other people are much smarter than me and probably lean on people. When my husband and I first got married, we just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary like a couple weeks ago. So thank you very much. And when we first got married 20 years ago, we launched a construction business and we didn't ask for help from anybody. We were kind of like, let's go, pardon my language, but I was like, let's go balls to the wall. We're just going to jump off the deep end. We're going to do it. And we were like, we don't need help from anybody. We got this. And his dad ended up telling us at some point, like, no man is an island. You need a community. You should probably go to church sometimes, like stuff like that. And we had we were really successful, but it was very yo-yo. We'd get like really big contracts and then we'd have no contracts. And then we get really big ones and have no contracts. And I think one of the things that we weren't very good at the time was delegating things out to other people. We still felt like we had to do a lot of it ourselves. So I did a lot of the marketing and the business side of it. My husband did a lot of the actual bidding on contracts. And then he decided to join the military one day. And when he decided to join the military, we kind of put our construction business on hold. And then I was just a stay-at-home mom. And I tried to do some network marketing stuff. I was not brilliant at it, but I saw that every single successful person, I did the thing that we all do on the internet. You know how we go to social media, we go to Google and we Google everybody, and we're just kind of like detectives, and we were like sleuthing and finding out all the secrets. So I did that to every person who was successful in network marketing. And I found two key things that were very interesting. So every person who was the top earner in the company, like there would be people who'd been there forever, and then there would be people who were brand new and would rise to the top really fast. Every single one of them had a background in one of two areas. One was sales and the other was marketing. And that was when I was like, cool, I'm going to go all in on this. And so I started studying everything I could find. I already was kind of interested in sales. I mean, when I was 17, I did like the rite of passage. I worked for Cutco for a little bit. My mom did, she did Mary Kay. So like I did a little bit with Mary Kay, like back in the day when I was younger. And so I had those rite of passage moments in sales. And then I didn't really get into it though until that point. And I ended up having somebody, I don't know, I got on some kind of ad and he was selling like write your book and become a speaker on stages. And that was something I really wanted to do. I wanted to be on stages. And then he was like, it's $10,000. And I was like, I don't have that money. And that was like, I don't have that. Like, I really don't. And he like really cared for me. He's like, so I have like a few positions on my team for salespeople. So if you want to come on and learn sales, I can do that. And I was like, okay. And so I jumped onto like his stuff, and he didn't really have a sales team at the time. So he had at one point, because he had all these like training recordings from other team members that were no longer there, but he showed me several books to start reading. He got me there. And so like that one little like nudge allowed me to start my journey. And then I didn't really do much with it. We ended up jumping into Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's program like 5 or 6 years ago. When it first came out, the very first iteration of it, the Knowledge Business Blueprint, which I think now is called the Self-Education Revolution. But I paid really close attention. I'm one of those people who watches behind the scenes. And they did something that I thought was fascinating. And it was a $2,000 DIY course. I thought I was spending $2,000 to jump into a program. It was the most money I'd ever spent on like mentorship or whatever. I thought I was going to get mentorship. It was not mentorship. It was just a course. And the thing is that I wasn't the only one who bought in. There were 40,000 people who bought in on this. And the thing, like if you did the math, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, just a smidgen of money.
Yeah, and they've had so many more buy-in ever since. But that being said, that very first iteration, 40,000 people bought in. And I noticed something that was really interesting. People got in there, they sold something. So I thought I was going to learn how to build a course that was going to make money while I slept. I was going to learn how to run ads and start all that stuff. They didn't teach anything on ads. They didn't teach anything on building a course. They taught about like basically creating your knowledge into an event. And I'd already done some events. I'd already gotten paid like minimal, like pennies, like $15 a ticket or something for like local stuff that I'd done. So I didn't really feel like it was that great in that respect, but they did do a lot with mindset work, which I thought was really interesting. So there was a phrase that they said when they sold everybody in, because here's actually the most interesting fact about it, right? So 40,000 people buy in and almost nobody asked for a refund. Most people did not get results. Almost nobody asked for a refund. And that's where you got to be like, what is the psychological reason why? And I'm obsessed with psychology, the psychology behind sales and marketing. So I'm looking at that and I'm paying attention and I'm like, what was the phrase that sold me in? And there was this webinar that they did. I don't even know if they were actually there live. It could have been pre-recorded, honestly. But there was this phrase that they said during that really just stuck with me. And I still use it to this day. I actually use it as a training for all of my clients. So the phrase is, the education system is broken. Together, we're making self-education the new norm. And so it's like an anthem for a people. It's like the voice of a generation who was kind of like, pardon my language, shit on by the education system. Yeah. And so what happens is people hear about this hero and this villain. And here's something we've all heard about, the hero and villain and like sell your story and stuff like that. But here's the kicker that is really important, is that their hero and their villain are basically like personas of non-humans. So it's like, it's not the government who is the villain. It's not the school system. It's not the principals or the teachers. Like, no person is a villain. It's a persona. And they basically gave a persona to a system. And so that system is the villain. And then you can have another system that's the hero. And so it's almost like there's a book called The Alter Ego Effect. And it talks about how you can have a totem that when you put it on, you're this different personality, kind of like Superman, how Superman would have his outfit and nobody recognized him, but he puts on those glasses and suddenly like, who's this guy? Why does he have an S on his chest? That's weird. That's only for Superman. You know, they're like, I don't know. People are dumb. Anyways.
I like all serious and then people are dumb. I love that. But it's true. When I worked, go ahead. Sorry. No. I'm interrupting.
When you worked where? Go ahead.
When I worked as a stock person, it's like people are like, "Where's the milk?" Like customers are come. Everybody has like, and it's like right beside you. Like we're beside it's cold to your left. Did you not look? But anyways, not important.
Okay, here's a really cool psychological thing. Because again, I'm really into the psychology behind stuff. So this one comes from Tony Robbins. I learned it from his thing. Eventually, no one will remember that he did it, and they'll only hear it from me. That'd be amazing. Let's have that be the reality.
Brand new breaking stuff right now on the podcast.
Yeah. So we only find whatever we're focused on. And our brain is only paying attention to whatever's most important information to us at the time. So it's like when you're buying a new car and you saw this new white car that you want, you start seeing white cars everywhere, right? And when you're like, whenever I got pregnant, I started noticing pregnant women everywhere. I was like, oh, wow, so many people are pregnant at the same. They were already pregnant before I got pregnant, but it's just like I didn't realize it until it became top of mind for me. So whatever we focus on, we tend to find. So here's this really cool exercise that anyone, as long as you're not driving, if you're driving, please do not close your eyes, but anyone can do this exercise. So right now, I want you to look around your environment, and it needs to be a stagnant environment. So if you are in a car, only look around the inside of the car. If you're riding, not driving. Again, I reiterate, if you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Okay, so that being said, look around your environment and find everything that you can find in the room, small, big, whatever, it doesn't matter. Find everything you can find in the room that's red. And I'm going to participate too. I'm going to glance around. We're going to look around. We're going to find everything that's red. Pay attention to where is it at? Remember it. Make sure you get a visual image. These are the things that we're focused on. We want all the red things in the room. We're looking around. We're finding everything that we can find that's red. Cool. Now you're going to close your eyes. And you're going to get a really good image of all of the red things that were in the room. It might have been a lot. It might have been a little. They might have been big. They might have been small. What were they on? What was next to them? We're looking at everything red in the room. Okay. Keeping your eyes closed, I want you to think about everything that was blue. And then now open your eyes and look around. How many more blue things? So just glance around, find everything blue now. How many more blue things are around that you weren't paying attention to before?
Okay, that's not fun.
But it's true. It's true. It's how our brains react to our environment. Our brains are always paying attention to whatever is most important. It's why people can decide to be happy, even though they've felt really depressed all throughout the day. They can decide in a moment and flip on a dime and be happy because they're focused on the things that cause them to feel depressed, or they focus on the things that cause them to feel happy. So where our focus goes, our energy flows. So again, it's the same thing going back to the principle of whatever we focus on, we find more of.
Already, this episode is amazing. I love it. After just one question, and then all of a sudden we got this amazing result. Cierra, I don't know, before we go off onto another amazing tangent and the time's up, I want to get this question in. Because you're such a busy mom, you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you're a wife, you're amazing viral strategist. How do you invest in yourself? Like, we know you paid the $2,000 to go to the Tony Robbins, but what else have you done to invest in yourself? Like, are there specific routines you do that just help you invest in yourself? Is it like, I always read this one book every Tuesday for 45 minutes or something like that? Like, how do you invest in yourself apart from, paying for mentorship or going to these courses?
I am very organized. I do appreciate consistency, and I like having like stability in terms of certain things, but I'm not as strategic as the same episode every Tuesday for 45 minutes. It's not that. It's definitely not that. I got some really good advice. So the Tony Robbins and Graziosi thing, when I went through that, I actually didn't get very good results out of that. I think I did one event eventually. I made it was under $300. So I wasn't like super successful right away. And I didn't really start a business off of that. I actually tried to do a mindset event, and then it turned into a business event because I recognized nobody was wanting to pay for anything for mindset. And so I turned it into a business event. I got one person who purchased in at like $127. And then I got two more people who purchased in at $17 because I dropped the price because nobody was buying in. And I thought maybe it's the price. And it wasn't the price. I just didn't know what I was doing. And the first person who purchased in was my mom. The second person was my aunt, who my mom paid for that ticket. And then the third person was a person who was in the program with me who just wanted to support me. So it was still great. I gave them insights. It was awesome. It was a great experience. But it was also really defeating that I wasn't just wildly successful out the gate. So that being said, the next year I ended up, so my son, we'd found out that year that he had a brain tumor when he was 11. And at the time when we found out, I got really depressed. The way we found out, he was in the kitchen and he was cooking brunch on a Saturday. We taught all of our kids to cook from a young age. And he ended up having a seizure, which we didn't know he was having them because they're called focal seizures. So it just looks like the person's doing normal activities. And so he was in the kitchen cooking by himself because he always had, and he's good at it. And he had that seizure. He ended up picking up the pan with his bare hands. And I heard his sister in the background, and she was like, Israel, are you okay? Israel, did you burn yourself? And he wasn't responding. So I tapped my husband. I was like, hey, can you go check on that? He disappears into the kitchen right behind me. It's a big open concept that we lived in. And I hear nothing. It's quiet. It's been like longer than I would have expected to not hear anything. So I get up and I go in the kitchen, and to my horror, when I turn around, my husband is holding my son's hands over the sink. My son, it's eerily quiet. He's holding his hands over the sink, and the skin on his fingers and palms on both hands looks like egg noodles. And I was just like horrified. I didn't know what to do. Yeah. And I won't get any more graphic with it.
Thank you. Like, I'm like over here, like shaking my head. Like, no, I can visually see it. I worked close to a kitchen, so I know how hot things can get. And yeah, okay, continue.
So yeah, my husband's sitting there holding it. It's very quiet. And then all of a sudden my son snaps to, and he starts freaking out, screaming. So that was like the moment. So it wasn't just the brain tumor that happened. It wasn't just the seizures. It was now he had to get 4 skin graft surgeries, and he was in so much pain. And initially they had to do triage to save the nerve endings. And so they did both hands at the same time, which means he lost his ability to do everything as a young man. He couldn't play with his friends. So he lost all of his friends, they actually were jerks. Like kids can be jerks. And they started making fun of him. And so he lost all of his friends. He lost his ability to play. He couldn't play on the computer. He couldn't hold a remote to watch TV, couldn't draw, couldn't write, couldn't hold a book, couldn't even feed himself, couldn't go to the bathroom by himself as an 11-year-old young man. So a mom had to help him while dad was at work. And then dad had to help him shower. So he just got so depressed. He was in pain and lost everything that was important to him. So, and the medication amplified it sometimes. So I walked in on my son a couple times where he was trying to kill himself. He was like wrapping a sheet around his neck, trying to kill himself. And I had to stop him. And his sister actually found him like that a couple times too, and had to stop him. And so it just became this really big thing where I was very depressed for about 2 months. I'd quit everything. And my son was also very depressed. And there was just this time that started happening. I started going into my closet to cry instead of crying in front of my kids. And I realized that I couldn't let my son die. So I had to become that motivational speaker in my family so that like my kids could have a good life. And I started coming out. I started being that motivational speaker. And there was this one day about 2 months in that I came out, and my son had wanted to start a lawn mowing business before all the stuff happened. And he was like, Mom, I can't do it now. And I was like, you can do and be whatever you want in life as long as you pursue it with all of your might. And it was at that point we had been watching The Last Dance, the background about Michael Jordan. Yeah, we'd been watching that. And I recognized my kids know who Michael Jordan is. They know who Mr. Beast is. They know who like Ariana Grande is. They have all of these like icons that they see. And they're like, well, they can do it because they had something different than I have. But unless I showed them firsthand, they weren't going to do it themselves. And so it hit me like a punch to the gut that I had to show them firsthand. I had to be that person. And that was when I decided to start my business. That's when I finally followed through on this $2,000 course that we bought that I was really kind of disappointed in, that it didn't get me great results. And I did that first event, wasn't successful. But then the next year, about 2 weeks after my son's brain surgery, by the way, I know everybody's wondering, my son is alive and he survived. And he had 4 skin graft surgeries and his hands functioned. They grew, the skin grew with it. They actually say the skin doesn't grow at the same rate, but it has stretched and grown with it. And I mean, it's just like, it's almost like a miracle. It's so amazing. So he's
very
about,
happy to hear that.
Yeah, he was 11 at the time. Now he's 16 and he just got his driver's permit. So, pray for us.
As a former student driver, I pray for you. I know how stressful it can be being a parent driving. I can still see the white knuckle gloves my dad wore.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, my husband's not the same. Like he doesn't care. He's like, nah, they're gonna do great. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that being said, that next year, 2 weeks after his brain surgery, I got qualified for a grant. I was in school to get, because I thought I had to, before I could charge anybody, I thought I had to have a certification from college. So I was trying to get a certification in social media marketing and digital advertising, because all the stuff that I'd been studying and learned, I thought I have to have that paper or else people won't want to pay me. Which wasn't true. I started doing the coursework and I was like, this is stupid. This is stuff that even my kids know. Like, I'm like, this is so dumb. I'm wasting my time. But I did it anyway because I just wanted that damn paper. And then I also jumped into a video marketing course that one of my friends in KBB launched. And I started learning that, which was fun. And then I jumped into another mastermind. And this one was the kicker. This one was $10,000. So the video marketing course was $500. The grant that I got for the certification was only $2,000. This one was $10,000. And I had just fixed my credit and I had this brand new shiny credit card that would cover the cost of it. So I was like, swipe, pay in full, because whatever energy you sow is the energy you're going to reap, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I swiped, it paid in full. I jumped in there and I was like, if I could just learn how to make the payments on this card, it would be worth it, because all the other stuff I'd done wasn't paying me consistently. I wasn't getting paid at all. I was making $0 per month. Nice big goose egg. And then I jumped in and the program was only 10 weeks. And on week number 9, that last week, I got my first client. So I had 11 sales calls, and it wasn't until sales call number 11 that I got my first client. And with that first client, they paid me, it was a $3,800 offer. They paid me on a 2-pay. So I collected $1,900 and I was like stupid excited. I was like, this is going to more than cover the payment. I can do anything. I'm amazing. And that's kind of like my beginning there. And that's what really like set me on the path that I can do this and I can do it exponentially more than what I thought. And I started setting that precedent for I can do things I've never done before and I can do them very quickly. And it was thanks to that first initial 10K investment. Now, granted, that first month I collected $1,900. That second month I collected $7,700 because I got that person such great results. Like they collected 10K from their Facebook group that was completely dead. It had 2,000 dead members. He had not posted in it in like 2 years. He collected 10K in his first 2 weeks. Ooh. And so then he paid off his second payment early. Heck yeah, I'm worth it, right? And then that next person that I sold in, I was like, 5,800, it's like it was 38. And now it's 5,800. If you can get 10K in 2 weeks, it is 5,800. So then my next month I collected 7,700. The next month was 12,000. The next month was 20,000. And up until like 6 months in, I'd already collected 100,000 into my business. And that's cash collected, not contracted, because I think that's important. Mm-hmm. We don't have enough people who actually share they share the collected numbers. And then we don't have enough people who share their profits. It's like so many businesses make so much money and they have zero profits, but granted, Amazon wasn't profitable for what, like the first 3 years? Like they weren't profitable until like year number 3. So, I mean, I guess that's not bad either. Like whatever gets us to grow, right?
Yeah. Just envision the growth and it will come. And people like you just proving that it's consistently possible, proving it to your kids and then proving it to us by sharing that story. That's insane. But what I love what you talked about, that it took time for you. You paid that $2,000 to get the course, didn't get you the results you wanted, let it simmer, got more, and then obviously 2 years later it kicking down 100K months, like it's nothing. Jeez. I want to know, what do you see in 10 years from now? Like, where are you going in 10 years from now? What do you do? Obviously TEDx for sure, or even TED Talks on the horizon. I know that for sure.
Well, so TEDx, I was really stoked to get a TED Talk at some point. I actually have I have 2 different friends who run TEDx events that if I wanted a TED Talk, I could go get one. I just haven't decided what I want my TED Talk to be. So I haven't really done it. It's actually really easy to get a TEDx event. Oh. And I paid $30 to learn that about 3 years ago. As soon as I found out how easy it was, I was like, eh. So my top goal for this year, and then I'll share the 10 years. My top goal for this year is I've already helped my clients go viral, and I want to continue to help my clients go viral consistently. So we've gotten viral with curated content, and we've had a few pieces of content go viral with several 100,000 views, but I really want to get my clients' content with their face on it to multi-million views. Then the next piece is I want to go viral with my content. I think I've been kind of hiding in the shadows again, like I used to, and not putting myself out there because I'm like, what if I fail? Like we all do. It's like every new level, we go through the same emotions that we went through right in the beginning. Uh-huh. Every new level, we have to face that fear of what if I fail? What if this happens? What if I put all my attention in this basket and then this one that's really important and is like our cash cow falls through the cracks, It's like we all have those little fears that we have to face and we have to deal with and we have to make decisions on. So that's my goal for this year. 10 years from now, I would really like to bridge the gap for people who are actually trying, for people who are actually motivated, for people who are actually not only willing to invest in themselves, but they're taking actions. I would like there to be some sort of accountability in the coaching and consulting world where people are actually having a higher volume of results from what they're selling. Because right now, I want to say it's about 5% of people in most courses, and not in mine, just so you guys know, like I keep a very low flow of who I let in, and I'm very strict about who I let in because to this point, 75% of people who come through my stuff see success within 60 days. 50% see an ROI within the first 30 days. And I am very protective of that environment and of what I'm sharing with people and who I want to let in. And so that being said, I would love to see programs in the future and courses and the consulting and the agencies that are out there. I would love to see a success rate that matches that, because right now, 5%. It's about 5%. You go to any website and you'll see roughly about 5% of the testimonials. 5% of people actually see success. And I've worked with, at this point, I've worked with five different 8-figure companies as clients, and only one of them had a really high success rate. And now I'm with another one, and this is a second one. So now I have 2 different 8-figure companies that have a really high success rate. 3 of the other companies I worked with did not have a really high success rate in a short period of time. It took a very long time for people to see success. And I'd like to really drastically shorten that gap. I'd like to raise the new floor for what the standard of living is here in America, because I love my freedom. I love America. I would love for America to have higher freedoms. And I would love for the baseline of what poverty is considered in America to be raised again, because we've already raised that bar once, because we're not like third world country poverty. We have a higher level, and I'd like to do it with less stress, because that's one of the other things is like people will have everything. They say like, what does it matter to gain the world but lose your soul? And so people will have lots of money, but then they'll have such high stress that they end up having a heart attack on a Monday and dying, and they don't even get to enjoy the life that they created. And so I would love to be a champion for that. I think we've got some champions in our industry. I won't name drop, but there's a lot that I follow that I love what they're doing and I love what they stand for, that I want to lock arms with them. And that's what I want to see happen for the future. So really big vision for the industry.
I love that vision. We need people like you visioning something better than what we have, and willing to take the risk to go after it, because if we don't have risk takers, we don't have any monumental changes. All the greats were visionaries like that, taking risks. I kind of want to touch on your expertise. I don't want you to give away your secret sauce and all that. But
I have so many.
I know you do.
There's so many.
But I would love if you could give us a little bit of some ingredients that can help someone go a bit better with their posts or their going viral. Since I'm unable to speak as a podcaster, apparently.
So the very first thing that I tell people to do is to get really good at asking viral questions, because it teaches you how to say a lot in a very short amount of words. So it gives you this really unique skill to be interesting with less words. And I give away viral questions. I have like a template. It's 80 viral questions that anyone can go to my website, CierraLueck.com. You can download that there. With that, you can get those 80 viral questions. You'll get a feel for what those are like. So I have clients who literally devote like extra time to just learning how to shape new viral questions and how to adapt them and how to build them for different audiences. And with viral questions alone, and it's like literally like one small sentence with viral questions alone. And I'll tell you one of the ones that, got me a $2,500 paid in full client. So with viral questions alone, you can go into a group, you can get a ton of engagement. People are like, who is that person? And then you can start making sales just with a viral question. It doesn't even have to be a CTA. And then we also have like viral question CTAs. So anyone who goes and grabs that 80 viral questions template, I actually have a training in there on how to do it as CTAs. Like there's 3 different formats that we use viral questions for, but I use viral questions on my sales calls. I use viral questions in my conversations. I use viral questions in my longer form posts. I use viral questions in books. And the thing is that they are very, very engaging. And if you can get really good at asking questions, there's people have written several books about it. Like John Maxwell wrote Good Leaders Ask Great. No. Yes. Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And that book is all about asking really good questions. And so if you can, it's an art to be really good at asking questions and then listen, and not listen to respond, but listen to understand. Because when it comes to marketing online, you need to voice things in their words, not your own. You need to enter the conversation that they're already having in their mind. So the better you get at asking these questions, the better you get at understanding what your audience is saying, the better you get at your marketing and sales in the future. So viral questions, if you don't learn any other skill, that one's really simple. So are you ready for that one viral question that got me a client within 24 hours?
I'm wondering how many viral questions you just dropped on us in that whole sentence. But yes, I want to know, what's that one viral question?
So I went into a group. It was only 3,000 people inside of this group. It was a smaller group. I usually recommend going into larger groups when you're going to drop them. But I went into the small group because it was a mastermind that everyone in that room had paid to be there. So I go into this group and I just ask, does anyone else here have kids? I have 5. That was it. That was the entire post. I had 100 comments in the first 24 hours. One of those people mentioned how many kids she have and that they work with her. And I was like, that's so cool. My kids are these ages. And then I sent her a friend request. She went over to my profile, scrolled through, opted in on like 5 different things on my profile, booked a call with me without even talking to me. And then I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I saw you booked a call. And she's like, yes, I really want to work with you. And I was like, oh, okay. And so this was a couple of years ago. She actually ended up becoming a great client. She made $11,000 in her first 3 weeks, and then ended up donating $1,000 back to go towards another client, to go towards a new person. And I actually had a challenge going on at the time, so I put it in as one of the prizes. I just made it 2 first prizes because of her. So it was really cool. So that being said, viral questions don't have to be hard. They just have to be really entertaining, fun, easy to answer. That's it. They can be polarizing. Like one, you probably engaged on one. It's not as popular now because people are kind of burned out on it, but I still guarantee you're going to get engagement even if you do it today. It's the pineapple on pizza thing.
Oh my God. No, we're not going to have this conversation.
We don't have to have the conversation because your emotion right there is why it goes viral.
It's a sacrilegious thing. Anyways, we're going to move off from pizza and with or without pineapple. Without. That is insane. That is insane. The virality, yeah, it's a simple. Wow. Simple is usually always best.
So one of the most viral posts, I'll give you 2 more things with viral questions just for fun for the audience. So one of the most viral questions I've ever seen had more than 3 million comments. It was done by a Facebook page. So whenever people are like, Facebook pages are dead, they're not dead. You just have to know what you're doing. Like if you're just starting out a brand new page, you have to be really strategic to get engagement. But if you have a lot of followers already, engagement's really easy to get on pages. That being said, this question had more than 3 million comments. You want to know what it was?
Oh God, I'm scared to ask.
It's not pineapple on pizza.
Thank God. Okay.
It's a new one. It's a new one.
What is it?
So it's who the heck sleeps with both a fan and the AC on?
That, of course, that is insane.
More than 3 million comments. I have it saved somewhere, but the amount of shares that post had was absolutely ridiculous. It was so silly. And then one of my clients actually came in and was using viral questions inside of other groups to build up visibility and traction. And his first post got 200 comments and he was like, wow, this is awesome. The next week he did another one. It got 800 comments in 24 hours. And he was like, I am the shit, Yeah. and then the next one that he did, I was super intrigued by because he went into this group, he took one of my templates, went into this group, and within 24 hours, he had more than 2,000 comments. And if you want to know what the question is, I'll share it. It's actually in the 80 templates. I usually don't tell people, but I'll share it if you really want me to.
Oh, I don't know. I maybe want to have it off air. No, please. Ooh, it's for the audience. The audience will take more out of this than I will. So what is it? What's that question?
So this one works really well. Everyone who uses it can adapt it for whoever their target market is or their niche, whoever they want to actually engage on their content. It works really, really well. So it's on a scale of 1 to 10. How much did your dad teach you about fatherhood?
Ooh.
And he posted that inside of a father's group, like a group that was just full of dads, and 2,000 comments in 24 hours. Most of those were zeros. just on a side note, or negative numbers. They're like -100 or something like that. But it's like I've used it for all of my clients to this day. And then we can take it and adapt it and use that same question and like make it a little bit different. So it's like one day it could be like, how much did school teach you about marketing? You know, how much did your parents teach you about business? You know, how much did your mom teach you about being a good mom? Or how much did your mom teach you about health? You know, so easy. And you really want to answer it because it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, and never do 0, do 1 to 10, because people love putting a 0.
It's true. They do. They want to be the first to put the 0. To be so cool. That is, I'm like, my brain is just going off right now with at the simplicity of these viral questions and how you're just popping it off. No wonder you're the viral strategist here. You can create engagement without without trying. Cierra, we are coming up to the end of the episode, which really sucks because I'm pretty sure if I let you speak for another 2 hours, we'll have like 18 courses and everybody listening will go viral. But I want to know, I have your 10-year-old self right beside me. She's amazing, full of energy. She won't start running around the walls. I'm not sure why. But I would love to know, what's one piece of advice you would love to be able to give back to your 10-year-old self?
You prepped me for this, and I always love answering questions on the fly. So give me like 2 seconds, because that one's actually really tough because I can't even picture myself. I'm like, where was I? I was like 5th grade. I was 5th grade. Oh, man. 10 years old. I actually, my husband shared this recently, and I really like his perspective on this. He said that if he had the opportunity to give his younger self advice at any point, he wouldn't, because he really enjoys who he is now. And that's what I feel too. I really enjoy the mistakes that I've made. And I'm not that I enjoyed the mistakes in the middle, because like I can tell you the stuff that happened with my son, I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back and tell him, hey, don't cook food. I wouldn't go back and tell him, hey, I don't ever want you cooking in the kitchen. I wouldn't. Even though he went through a lot of pain and it was really hard. I don't think I'd be here today as an entrepreneur if I hadn't made those mistakes. And so if I was going to give advice to anyone, it would be, don't be afraid to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are the fastest way to get to your result. Mistakes are the fastest way you'll ever grow. So make mistakes as fast as you can, and you will be the winner. I tell my kids all the time, he who hesitates loses. So you don't hesitate. You go out there, you make a decision, you stick with it, and then you own your mistakes and learn from them and keep moving forward. That's what I would give.
That's some amazing advice. I love that advice. Cierra, I'm going to jump off stage here while I process that advice and secretly go over to your website and download the template. Shh, don't tell anyone. But I want you to let my audience know where they can connect with you, how they can maybe just reach out right now and hire you, because if they haven't been sold now, I don't think anything else will be done to sell them. But yeah, how can they connect with you?
So if you want to purchase something without talking to me, you can go to my website. You can go download like the viral questions. You can download the viral questions. I have several other DIY courses that you can get there as well. If you don't ever want to talk to me, you just want to like do this behind the scenes and try it on your own, you absolutely can. Everything that I give has actions that you can take right away. And I give so many templates for all different pieces of content, all of that on there. I do have a couple different consulting courses where I actually do a mix of coaching and consulting. Sometimes I get down in the weeds with you and just help you build out the content yourself. With those, you can just book a call with me right off of my website. I have a link there, or you can find me on Facebook and you can go schedule a call with me there. That being said, I also started this last year, I started doing done for you services for my clients, because I recognized that the biggest problem that my clients were having that I did consulting for is that they didn't know how to manage and bring in the right team members to take over this. So I was like, okay, I know how to do it. It's really easy for me. I know how to train people. Rather than training up random people that they've hired, I just do it for you. So if you are one of those people who you've already hit multiple 5-figure months or more, and you would love to have somebody come in and do social media strategy, we do the viral content, we do the conversion strategy to get sales, and my clients are making anywhere from 40, 50,000, 80,000 to over $100,000 months with viral content on social media. So I'd love to help you and support you with that. Whatever you need, I'm here for it. And you can go to my website. I'm going to say it one more time, CierraLueck.com. The way you spell my name, just so that everyone knows, because Starbucks always gets it wrong. It's CIERRA. My last name is LUECK.com. You go there, you're going to find everything you need.
And of course, for the audience, the links will be down below too, so you can click there even quicker. But Cierra, thank you so much. This episode has been more than awe-inspiring. It has been mind-shattering with just some of the tips and stories that you shared with us. So I can't thank you enough for being here.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me. Thank you for starting the podcast.
I started it for my own selfish needs, but now it seems to be helping a lot more people, which I'm very, very happy to hear. To my audience, again, check out the show notes down below to connect with Cierra, because it's well worth your time. I can't wait to jump into the list of questions that I just got emailed to me. So don't tell anyone that you may be seeing some viral questions pop up. But I thank you again for listening, Cierra. Thank you again for being here. And remember to always invest in yourself.